Carl Jung said, "Awaken and shine your light for others to follow. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This is an invitation to move differently in the world, to operate from a place of deep knowing and alignment. I'm Adrienne McDonald, and welcome to the Source Code Podcast. Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome back. Are you feeling the season yet? Two important questions. Number one, have you experienced Whamageddon yet? As of the recording of this podcast, I am safe from Whamageddon. When it drops, who knows? If you do not know what Whamageddon is, Google George Michael and Christmas and it should come up. And a better question, are you Team Santa or Team Grinch? Piper, if you've been following me on social media, my little Chimix, she is definitely Team Grinch this year. Well, we started off this three-part series around Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol last week with Christmas Past, and this week we are focused on Christmas Present, the ghost of Christmas Present. And the holiday season invites us to pause and reflect and embrace the present moment, because the present moment is where all the joy is found. And A Christmas Carol, the ghost of Christmas Present, brings Scrooge face to face with the joy and abundance that are available to him right now. It is a really powerful reminder that life happens in the present. And when we learn how to embrace that, we unlock so much more opportunity. The sun has moved into gate 10. Now, officially, this gate is called the behavior of the self. It's also called the gate of self-love, which aligns perfectly with the theme. It calls us to live authentically, to love ourselves as we are in the present moment, and take responsibility for creating a life of integrity. Now, before we explore how Gate 10 helps us embody the gifts, I want to take a beat here and talk about an undercurrent that I see in the personal development industry. There's the addiction to finding a fix for ourselves is a very pervasive undercurrent in the personal development industry. It feeds on the belief that we are inherently broken, perpetuating an endless search for the next tool, program, methodology that will quote unquote complete us. And this cycle often distracts us from the really transformative power of self-acceptance and authenticity. And Gate 10, with its call to radical self-love, really challenges the struggle with this mindset. It reminds us that growth doesn't come from fixing what's not broken, but from embracing our wholeness as it exists in the present moment. And when we recognize that we are already enough, we can sort of let go of the chase. And that's really what I'm talking about here, the chasing for that external solution, and focus on cultivating joy and empowerment and presence within ourselves, again, in the present moment. I've been looking at a couple of things during the Mars retrograde in my own life. And one of the questions that is very common in the personal development field is, what are the blocks? What are the blocks around X? And it's a tool that I use. However, sometimes there's this one particular area where I'm really challenging myself as, do you even still have blocks here? Are you just perpetuating the story that you have blocks here? And what I'm finding as I really feel into this and use all the tools that are in my toolkit is I really don't have blocks anymore. It's more of, here are a couple of behavioral shifts that need to happen that are more in line with my human design that makes this a non-issue. At one point, I did have blocks in this area. I don't have them anymore. I've just been using that as an excuse not to do some of these behavioral shifts. So that is a good example of, well, if I go take this next program, that this is going to give me some piece of the puzzle. In reality, this is one of the reasons why I like the tool of human design, because it gives the map to go digging for the gold and go, You just have to be honest with yourself and when the gold is showing up. That's the key. Now let's talk a little bit about the shadow of gate 10 and the gift in the city. So in the shadow frequency, this energy can show up as self-obsession or a fixation on external validation, where you may judge yourself harshly or rely too much on others' opinions to define your worth. However, the gift of Gate 10 is empowerment, the ability to take responsibility for your life and your choices. And this isn't selfish, it is the foundation for everything you do. When you move beyond that shadow, you recognize that self love is a source of strength, helping you embody your authenticity, to take ownership of your happiness, to let go of victimhood. And at the highest expression, the city, it's being. It calls to you to rest fully in who you are without the need for constant improvement or validation. It's an invitation to simply be. And what better thing than to be and also be in the present moment? Think of A Christmas Carol's Ghost of Christmas Present in the classic. Now, I mentioned last week my favorite rendition of this is the Scrooge with Bill Murray, where I think the Ghost of Christmas Present was the lady that dressed up in pink, and she was vibrant. And the Christmas present is usually vibrant, full of life, unapologetically joyful. And the Ghost of Christmas Present shows Scrooge what's possible in the present moment: connection, love, gratitude, and the sheer beauty of being alive. But Scrooge resists, and he is still clinging to those shadows and those fears. And Gate 10 really asks the same of you. Embrace the present moment. The shadow of self-obsession may pull you into self-criticism or resist the now. You may get stuck in replaying the past or worrying about the future, forgetting that life happens in the here and now. And when you fully accept yourself as you are in the moment, you really align with Gates 10's energy of empowerment, because the present moment stops being something to fear or to avoid, and instead it sort of becomes this place of freedom and potential. And the lessons that we can learn from Gate 10 are radical self-acceptance, right? You may want to improve some things. I think we all want to improve some things, but you've got to start by accepting yourself right now. Not about ignoring growth or change. It's about embracing the truth that you're already whole and you're already worthy. Radical self-love means honoring who you are today without waiting for perfection or external approval. Number 2 is releasing victim mentality. In the shadow, Gate 10 can trap you in blame, self-pity, believing life happens to you rather than for you. The present moment gives you a choice. Will you take responsibility for your happiness? Or are you going to stay stuck in this disempowered narratives? As I was reflecting on earlier today when I was journaling, it was like, this is a very disempowering narrative. I need to let this go. Number 3, living authentically. Gate 10 reminds you that authenticity is actually a gift. It's a gift to yourself. It's a gift to the world. When you honor your true self, you create this alignment and joy in your life. By being present with your emotions and actions and choices, a lot of people you're empowering yourself, but you're also empowering those around you. So let's talk about some reflective prompts for everyone. It doesn't matter what type or what profile line you have. These will work for everyone. Number 1, what does self-love look like for me right now? Number 2, where am I holding onto self-judgment that keeps me stuck? What are those narratives that are running in your head? Number 3, how can I take responsibility for my happiness today? And number 4, what small empowered choice can I make to honor myself where you are right now how can you honor yourself? So there are a couple of exercises that you can do. Take 10 minutes to list 10 things that you love or appreciate yourself. It's like a little gratitude just for you, right? And I find that also grounding in the present is very helpful. And I think that the best way to do that is to do it with breath work, because breath work will anchor yourself in the now. So you can sit quietly, take a couple of deep breaths, focus on the sensations that you're feeling in your body, and ask yourself, like, what is beautiful about this moment? Now, the Ghost of Christmas Present teaches all of us that joy and abundance live in the here and now. Through presence, through self-acceptance, through gratitude, you can discover life's joyful moments. And Gate 10 amplifies this lesson. And remember, Gate 10 is going to last for several days when you hear this. It's really calling you to embrace that radical self-love and step into empowerment and step into more joy. And release the judgment. That's one of the big lessons of 10, I think, is releasing self-judgment in particular. So that is it for Gate 10. I do want to share with you another ritual because tomorrow is Winter Solstice. And I do this ritual every year. Most of the time, I personally do it on solstice, although I have done it on the last day of the year, the 31st, New Year's Eve. So whatever you feel called to. But I take a couple of pine cones and I write down on tiny strips of paper things that I want to leave in the current year and not take into the following year. And then I burn the pine cones in a little fire. Now, obviously, if you're in an apartment, this will not work for you. Practice fire safety. But it's a release ritual. I write them down, I fold them up, I stick them in the tiny little grooves in the pine cones, and I thank the universe for the lessons and release all of that to the fire with gratitude. And then I look to the future. So I think that it's a nice ritual for solstice, and it's a nice, it pays homage to the past while being in the present, while looking to the future. So it sort of has all of the ghosts there with you on the solstice. So that is it for today. I hope you find this insightful. Remember to find those joyful moments. If you found this helpful, please share it out. And if you feel so inclined, leave a review. Join me next week as we talk about the Ghost of Christmas Future through the lens of Human Design Sungate 58 and the energy of joy and vitality. So remember to find beauty every day and seek the magic in the mundane. Thank you for listening to the Source Code Podcast. If you found this episode insightful and feel moved to, please leave a review and share it out with those you believe will find it helpful. You can check out my website for more information at www.adrianmcdonald.com. And for more of my more regular musings, connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. I hope you have a beautiful week.